The topic of male living spaces has been on the forefront of the internet for years now. From making fun of us for not having a bed frame, to wondering how we survive while using only one scratchy towel, which we have used for so long we forgot it was originally our childhood comfort blanket. I have decided once and for all to give a fair, balanced, accurate assessment of male habitats, why we live that way, and the stages we all must go through on our journey from feral creatures to sentient beings. But in this video, I didn't want to just talk the talk. I wanted to get down and very dirty, to totally redo a male living space to see if it was possible. But first, I want to have a sober look at why male living spaces are the way they are. Why do men have this perception of being messy? Why do our dwellings have the reputation for being sparse and lifeless? Well, because they are, present company included. I've lived in concerning apartments my whole life, ranging from monk on hard times to amphetamine aficionado on vacation. And I didn't consider that anything was wrong until I made the #1 mistake a young man can make in his life. I brought a woman over. Why would I do that? We had it so good, crate that was my nightstand. We had such a good relationship, sheet that I thumbtacked over my window as a curtain. Because real curtains were just a capitalist tool to trap me in the hedonic treadmill of soap and vacuum cleaners. That's right, women, I'm on to you. I know you were invented by the CIA in collaboration with Big Candle to try to corral us beautiful stallions. I'm obviously kidding. Women's living spaces can be just as gross as men's. The reason I'm focusing on men here is men have a particular way of being gross. And frankly, I'm just not as familiar with women's specific grossness. I can't really do a whole video on, boy, that's a lot of hair in the shower. Male grossness is fascinating in its own way. There's an art to having a row of empty bottles as decoration, while also having empty bottles on the ground. There's something lovely to having the freedom of creating your own space, and instead of doing that, you just design a barracks for yourself. So I'd like to go over the different stages of male living spaces. If you're not one of us, you can learn a thing or two about what's going through our heads. And if you are, this should be a trip down memory lane. So let's hop into the types of male living spaces. Number 1. Bed on ground, nothing else. You've seen pictures before. This is a well-known type of male habitat. You've seen it before on Reddit or police body cam footage. You might think it's a lazy, unengaged man who lacks the imagination to put a personal touch on his room. And you'd be wrong. There is a very intricate psychology to bed on the ground that very few people are willing to engage with. But I am. You see, in many men's minds, there are desired archetypes that we want to embody. And at different times in our lives, these archetypes change. When we're younger, a very prevalent one is noble, humble monk warrior. We don't want to allow any distractions to invade our space, like good lighting or photos of loved ones. We prefer to reside in the depths of our own psyches. At this point, a lot of us don't even have aspirations to live in a better environment. Most of us actually want to recede deeper into asceticism. What if I put a plant here to make it look like I could nurture a single living thing? Instead, we look at our bed and the 4 books next to our bed, and we go, do I even need the bed? There used to be a lot of public discourse about man caves, but I always took offense to the idea that a man cave was a highly decorative, manicured room. That's not a man cave. This is a man cave. Now, obviously, most people want to grow out of this stage at some point, but there's barriers. Number 1 being money. And number 2, you need to be made aware of the amount of freedom you have when designing your own space. I know it's hard to imagine, but a lot of these guys literally don't know where to start. The idea of decorating feels overwhelming to them. So instead of dealing with all that, they go, what if I just lived in the blank room in the Matrix? To these men, I say, just give decorating a little bit of thought. Nothing too crazy, a plant, a picture on the wall. Preferably not a poster of the Boondock Saints, but we all make our own choices in life. I promise if you do these things, you will still be a noble samurai. You'll just be a noble samurai who is less concerning to others. This is actually a halfway decent starting place. Blank but relatively clean, acceptable in a supermax prison sort of way. The problem is what this space is usually paired with. The shared space in a male group living environment. This is desperation. This is hell. This is surprisingly not that bad of a time in the lives of the guys living here. It's very dependent on age. But I spoke to a lot of dudes about their past living experiences, and if they lived like this around the age of 18, a lot of them aren't that sad about it. Which is crazy considering that this is the kind of room a healthcare provider would see before putting you in a conservatorship. But these fellas usually feel like they're having a great time. The level of resilience they have against being affected by their environment is at an all-time high. They can wake up, walk through a living room that looks like an exhibit on the floating trash island in the middle of the ocean, and feel like they had a pretty good day. What they don't understand is they are doing damage to their brains by living like this. This level of clutter is not conducive to long-term happiness. Living spaces like this are why frats think it's a great idea to strip new recruits to their underwear and subject them to degradation. You woke up and stepped on pizza. Your judgment of right and wrong is askew. When I was writing this part of the video, I had a flashback of when I went over to my friend's place to put up curtains for him. I realized I don't have a good idea of what most of my male friends' places look like. We all have this weird understanding that our dwellings are not places people should be, which isn't really a good sign. No, you don't understand. I can't have people over at my apartment because it's disgusting and shameful. Anyway, I'm off to spend most of my time there. And this place was rough. Books all over the ground. Clothes and dust strewn about the living room. A bathroom that would make most barn animals go, yeah, no, I'll just hold it. Before you think I'm just making fun of these guys, I am not speaking from a removed perspective here. I have lived in places like this. I am a reformed slob, and I don't think we should just make fun of these guys. We definitely should make fun of them, and I will, but it's not the only thing we should do. Sure, we could talk about how they have all these books and apparently none of them are a manual on how to dust. Or how the only thing in the apartment that is clean is the PlayStation 5. But I also want to talk about the best way to change the mindsets that lead to these environments. And to do research on that, I wanted to fix this place up. That's right, we're doing a living room makeover for these fellas. Don't say I never gave back to the community. Before we get into this part of the video, this cost money and took a lot of time. So all I'm asking is please subscribe to the channel. So I enlisted the help of my friend Katie French, who runs the YouTube channel Laugh Cry DIY. She's an excellent resource because she's a very good interior designer, she's very handy, and she is somehow willing to stand in a room like this without having an existential crisis. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thrilled to be here, guys.
It's good to have an expert on the channel.
Oh, lucky for them.
I'm going to go through a few of these pictures. I just want you to give your initial reaction to them and maybe some suggestions as to what we can do.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Here's picture number 1.
So my first question was, how many straight men live here?
I believe 3.
3. Okay.
3 straight men.
And I'll tell you, can I tell you why?
Yeah, go ahead.
I knew that it was at least 2 men.
Yeah.
Because that is a modular sofa.
Yes. That
is meant to be connected, but they separated it because they will not sit next to another straight man. and I think that I'm going to guess that's like about the distance of like a PlayStation controller.
Yeah,
about 6 inch.
That's right about.
Which to them is like preserving their heterosexuality.
Oh, you know, it's the size of a big gulp.
It's
That's
a big
what
gulp.
It is.
Yeah.
Because they also, they won't move the table close enough to it.
Yes.
So they have to have like a little pocket
they
for
want
the big
something
gulp.
to separate them.
That's brilliant.
That's crazy. My first thought is that this is one of those pictures that a landlord posts when they go, well, evicted another tenant. Also, I want to say, I do think it's so admirable that at one point they tried to hang art on the wall.
Oh my God, I didn't even
notice
that.
They left the command strips there. Now, usually when you hang command strips and command strips fall off the wall, that's the problem. It's not that. The strips are there. The art is gone.
The great art heist of the picture of like a chimp with big headphones on.
So this is the thing. All male spaces, when you ask why they look terrible, it's either because like it either looks like a prison or military barracks.
Yes.
And because men honestly find comfort to be gay. And I'm serious.
Interesting.
I'm totally serious.
Right.
It's like very real. Comfort, beauty, glamour, elegance, vibes. They don't do it. It's like anti-masculine. And the only time in movies and stuff that you see like a rich dude with like a cool space, it's always like industrial loft.
So you think that's why male living spaces tend to be like this?
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
It's
tactical, practical, and anything comfortable is a threat to their masculinity.
Tactical, practical is incredible.
It's true.
What do you think we do here?
So first thing I would do is actually just get a round coffee table
okay.
or an oval. You want to introduce a curve. Those are also good for tight, small spaces where you want to be able to walk around it, and not like hit your knee or whatever.
Got it.
Obviously, I'd add a rug for coziness.
Got it.
I would also consolidate one of their 45 bookshelves, which if you look closely, they've got 3 different types.
Yes.
None at the same height, none at the same color.
They got a lot of books.
They got a lot of books, which is great. That would run on the right a long, low shelf, the whole length of the wall as your bookshelf.
Okay, great.
And then you can put on top of that plants, a lamp, stuff like that.
Great. Well, we got some work to do.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your suggestions. I'm going to do as many as I can for them. And hopefully they will watch this video in perpetuity and understand that they need that.
I hope so. And I hope that they will pay my therapy bills for what I just endured.
So I went on a tear through Facebook Marketplace and found the tables, a rug, a couple other pieces of furniture. Well, Katie found the furniture, but I picked it up. And I went to Baller Hardware to get the cleaning supplies.
Not too bad. We're going to get started. I'm gacked off of caffeine. I have not eaten a single bite of food today, and I'm feeling really good. I will be listening to Metallica, but I do not have the money to use licensed music, so something else will play over this video.
I really went into flow state during this cleaning process. Like, it was a little grimy, a little gross, but I started to have fun with it. Sorry, I had to show off that I can rip on the guitar from lessons I took when I was 12 years old. I literally think at certain points these guys were just throwing trash into the living room instead of the garbage, which I can't really hate on because I have dreamed of doing that.
We gotta keep that douche, that's a prize.
You gotta keep that what?
Douche right there, that's a prize.
We have an douche behind the couch. I was expecting something like this. It's not used, is it?
No.
The douche was only the second most fun thing we found. I also found a lizard.
Guy.
Is he a little...
Shay, give me like a glass. Give me a glass.
Just like a little alligator lizard?
Yeah, look, see him behind the sock?
Yay!
There we
Good job! 2, 3. Oh.
Putting the bookshelf together was honestly my most favorite part because reading was such a big part of these guys' lives, and it was nice to just put the books together in a way where a woman might be impressed by them if they don't read the specific titles. Now I'm going to hit you with some before and afters.
I have cleaned more than I ever have in my entire life. My back hurts. My hands hurt. I know what it is to be a mother. I think we did a lot of good work here. I feel great about this. I feel like I've gotten more insight into the male living space. And listen, it's not that bad, alright? People talk a lot of smack about dudes' living spaces. We knocked this out in a day with less than $250. So, you can do it too. So I feel great about what I accomplished for those boys. And hopefully I was able to push them into having the third type of male living situation, rounding the bend. This generally happens when one of the dudes in the group has a major life experience. He starts dating a woman, or his family comes to visit, and he realizes he can't take them where he lives, unless he walks in and goes, "Oh my god, we were robbed." And then the robbers put a bunch of trash everywhere, and they ate a bunch of food and left the dishes. Mom, cover your nose. They sprayed something that smells like years and years of caked on body odor. Rounding the bend is hard. You've lived most of your life like a pig and now you have goals, aspirations, visions of bringing someone over and not having them step on mystery goo. You also have roommates to deal with, and boy are they gonna be a challenge. You would think that cleaning up, or God forbid doing something like putting a candle in the living room would be appreciated, but it's often met with this sort of primal hostility. As though you introduced a mouse to a cat shelter, or a vegetable to a Little Caesars order. Your roommates may run the gambit from calling you gay to calling you super gay. They'll say you're becoming soft. You're breaking bro code. What, you're trying to bring a woman into your life? No, we're supposed to live with each other forever and ever. That's what straight guys want to do. Because we're straight, there's a codependency. A shared agreement with you and your roommates that you will all live in filth. Any initiative taken to clean that filth is a declaration that you think you're better than them. And how dare you think you're better than garbage? Your living space has become a big bucket, and you're all a bunch of Old Spice scented crabs, doing their best to pull each other down. How do we stop that? How do you communicate with your fellow dudes and try to find a way out of your environment? Well, it's really hard. A big thing you have to deal with is the roommate Cold War. This is where you're in a standoff with another member of your living situation and neither of you clean anything. I'm not going to do my dishes if he's going to leave his clothes in the living room. We're not going to sweep if they keep trying to start a wet market in our kitchen. Why would I take out the trash? He keeps trying to ruin my wet market by shooing potential buyers of my Stingray. I got 8 units of Ray rotting in my fridge right now. I've got bigger cartilaginous fish to fry. If you're in one of these standoffs, you just have to ask yourself the question, how is this helping me? If no one does anything out of resentment, you've all basically agreed to live in hell together. I say extend an olive branch. Don't be an annoying roommate who's nagging and pestering, but put yourself out there a bit. Do the dishes even if they're all not yours. Tell your roommates, hey, I just did the dishes if you don't mind doing yours next time. And if they keep doing the same thing and ignoring you, maybe you need to find a different apartment. Step 4, transcendence. The feeling of freedom you get from overcoming your filthy living situation is almost indescribable. It's like you lived your entire life with your home being a hideaway, a shameful place that needed to be covered up. But with hard work and new patterns, you can finally live somewhere that feels good for you. Somewhere that feels open, clean, maybe even pleasant. Now, nobody wants to talk about this, but the degree to which you are able to do this has a lot to do with money. Not only does money dictate how much furniture you can buy, but also people have to work a lot of hours now. And the amount of time you can spend cleaning and decorating kind of goes out the window. I say this because people can be a little harsh when looking at other people's spaces. They see these examples and go, why can't every man live like this? Why can't all men have a giant TV and a super expensive couch? Do you know how much couches cost now? They're so expensive you would think they're an appreciating asset. People are buying couches as if to go, yeah, I'm not very liquid right now, but I'm flush couch-wise. I'm hoping to trade in my couch for a 2-bedroom. I bring that up to say, don't feel ashamed. We're all at different places in our lives. And just because you can't afford the apartment in American Psycho doesn't mean you can't make your space a little bit better. So here are 3 ways you can make your mindset better so you can improve your space. Number 1, you need to save you. The problem is, I think a lot of people have an all or nothing idea of how their place should look. They go, if I can't make it perfect, I'll just wait until I'm inevitably making $500K a year. That way my maid can clean my apartment, while my other maid injects peptides into my ass. And my lawyer tells that maid that she can't sue. But unless you have direct, solid plans to leave the space that you're in, chances are you're gonna stay there for a while. In my current apartment, I didn't hang art for a long time because I thought, well, certainly I'll be living in a home soon. Certainly the economic realities of this country don't apply to me. 4 years later, I made some compromises. And sure, there's a possibility that in the future you will be making a bunch of money. Or you'll find a woman who is willing to be your trad wife, while also working a job because you cannot afford to support 2 people on your income. That sounds like a great deal for her. But even if that happens, I don't think you'll be happy until you can manage your own space. There's a feeling of helplessness that comes from living in an environment that you don't enjoy. It starts to feel like it has power over you. It feels like the space is beating your ass. Well, fight back, soldier. Use your powerful male mind to find a way to live in a place where there's not food on the ground for so long new species are populating it. Also, and I'm only saying this from personal experience, your space is not dirty because you're a tortured genius. Living in clutter only halts your creative process because you're using all your creative energy to find a way to travel from your kitchen to your bedroom without gagging. Number 2, it's a process of trial and error. I know it's frustrating, but if you didn't grow up learning how to put stuff back and clean up, you have to learn it. There's actually a level of skill and creativity that goes into being tidy, and you do not possess those skills. At first, you will put your clothes in a drawer in the kitchen, or think the oven is a great place to put your documents. It sucks, but if you keep working at it, you will learn over time, and it is worth it. Living in garbage is bad for you. You'll have weeks where you slip and have to start over, but it's a process and I believe in you. Number 3, there's a lot of stuff you can skip. Because most of us need help and advice, we tend to make the mistake of doing everything someone else tells us to do. This isn't an awful thing, but what's right for one person might not be right for you. A couple nice pillows? Great. 45 decorative pillows on your bed? Maybe we can skip that one. A couple nice towels? Great. A huge set of towels, including those mid-sized ones that no one really knows how to use? Possibly not your thing. Basically, tidiness and design are just a bunch of techniques. If you make yourself familiar with them, you can decide which ones apply to you and which ones don't. And I think instead of shaming these men for how they live, we just need to understand they were not exposed to those techniques. You have to learn them on your own. From channels like Laugh Cry DIY. And you don't need to have a bunch of money or go nuts. You just need to know you have the freedom to make your place a little better. That's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, have a good one.